Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
and beer.
and beer. We got a special episode for you today. It's one of our potpourri episodes, but those are always fun. And in the studio with us right now, we have the man, the myth, the legend, D.L. Serios.
Yay!
Yay, you got that right. Just the way I wrote it.
We follow
better
directions.
Clear. He is a Central Florida legend in the music industry, and he's done back in the late 80s, early 90s. He was the man that every local band wanted to be because it's just they were the hottest act. Dead Serios was the hottest act anywhere in Central Florida.
I'll stop you when you say something wrong. So far, you're clicking, baby. All true.
All true.
All true.
And he's a very good friend of mine, and he was actually on my previous radio show that we've talked about. He was
The Will and Thunder
Will
show.
and Thunder show. Yeah,
I was a huge fan of the Will and Thunder show.
Yeah, we love doing it, and DL Serios was a repeat guest.
What else did I have to do at midnight on a Tuesday night? You know, email my parole officer and then listen to you clowns. It's a regular routine.
So, anyway, we're going to we're going to be telling stories, and DL has a doozy for you. So, and
I got a couple of doozies. If we're talking about crimes in Central Florida.
Well then,
yeah.
I mean, the more the merrier, because
sure.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
we'll see where it goes here.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Todd,
And that's Bill.
That's Todd.
and that's Chris. That's
me.
DL.
That's
Call me
DL.
what you want. If you knew what my ex-wife called me, that would be interesting. So yeah,
That would
whatever
be
you guys
interesting.
want. That's good.
Nice.
So, what are you drinking there, Chris? What are you drinking there?
Do you mean what are you drinking there, DL Serios?
Yes.
I'm drinking the nectar of the gods. It's a Venom energy drink. It's what I live on.
Oh wow!
It has fueled and inspired me since 2015. Venom energy drink. But they've
Nice.
screwed up, dude. The appeal for Venom energy when they came out in 2015, around the rim of the can, it said own it for 99 cents. So it had an absolute energy drink kick. It was straight legit, but a can this size was 99 cents as opposed to the $5.99 for the Red Bull. Now, the Red Bull, I love. I would take that shit intravenously, if it wasn't $5.99,
right?
A can. So they had various flavors on the Venom. So it was great. It kicked you in the ass, and it was super cheap. Fast forward 5 years, we get to about 2 years ago, and the own it for 99 cents banner around it was gone. And then you would find it for $1.29, $1.59, $1.99. I'm like, shit, for Venom, if I'm going to pay $2-3 a can, then I'll go ahead and go with the Red Bull or the Full Throttle, unless Venom Energy wants me to be their endorsement spokesperson.
Oh, you're endorsed by them? Sweet.
I wish.
Oh,
I
okay.
wish.
Well, I'm drinking Bud Light, and so is Todd. And Bud Light, you need to endorse us. You need to sponsor
go.
us because we drink it up. And you need the help right now, frankly.
Imagine that Bud Light spokes guys with penises.
Yes.
That look like guys. It's an interesting marketing concept.
Yeah.
That's quite an angle, guys. I don't think we can sell that.
Yeah, I don't think that'll work.
It'll never fly.
Yeah, and I mean, I did a spot for them, several months ago. That was that they should pay me $1 million for that spot because I made it sound like the greatest thing on the planet.
He did.
So
I heard they're going to pay you $1 million to take it down.
damn.
Apparently, corporate wasn't quite as thrilled with this.
We got to figure out which episode that was on and get that thing on TikTok.
I know, right? I don't even remember.
I don't either. But
Oh, well. It is what it is.
all right, so I got a story we're going to start off with.
All right.
This song. This story is called "The Devil Made Me Do It," and it takes place in Haines City. Oh, we're covering crazy Florida crimes, by the way. And this takes place in Haines City back in January of 2019. 60-year-old David Murdoch killed his ex-girlfriend. Take a guess why?
She had a penis.
No, I don't think she drank Bud Light.
Okay.
We're so getting
I
sued.
don't know what that means.
We're so getting
I don't even
sued.
know what any of this means.
No, but religious reasons.
Oh.
This is Central Florida?
Yeah.
Haines City over there.
Haines City.
Yeah, Lake Wales area.
David Murdoch. Right? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Not Murdoch from those
Murdoch.
weirdos up in
Have you heard this story?
Carolinas. No, I haven't heard this one yet.
Oh, we're going to cover that one at some point. I just got the dust has to settle on it first.
Yeah, sure.
But now he murdered his ex-girlfriend for religious reasons. He believed that she was possessed by the devil. So, and they obviously had a very toxic relationship.
You think?
A little bit. So David was the jealous type, and he was always checking in with her like 100 times a day. He was showing up at places where she was. He was calling and texting all day long. But they would split up, and then they would get back together again, and this happened multiple times.
Because it'll be better this time.
Right.
Yes, it'll be, yeah.
This
yeah.
time,
It'll work out.
yeah, this time it'll work out because it's true love.
This time I'm gonna love you, Belle Stranger. So, one night in 2018.
Mama, I don't know, Mama. I think this time he really means it. I think he's gonna stop the whiskey, and I think it's true love, Mama. No, I think this time it's real.
So,
Jeez.
so one night in 2018, they get into the worst fight that they'd had to this point, and Lisa left him for good.
Oh?
And she moved to Ohio. That's
Palm Bay North.
I was just going to say
Palm Bay with hills.
I was going to say North, Florida North, but close enough.
Been there. Spent a month there one day.
Yeah. So there's just as many crazy stories that come out of Ohio as there is out of Florida.
Just saying.
So, she's, she
Love them in Ohio. Love wonderful people in Ohio. Don't misunderstand me.
Yeah.
right,
It's just a little left up.
but
It's a little
Just a little.
yeah, just-
little Palm Bay.
yeah.
Anyway,
So, she said goodbye. She said, "Don't call me, I'll call you,"
Of course.
and she didn't. But she still had friends in the Sunshine State. So in January of 2019, she came back to Haines City to visit a friend. And
so wait a second. What do we know? She made a clean break to Ohio. Do we know? Is he making any contact with her? Has there been any efforts, or did she get home free, so to speak, in Ohio? Do we know any of those details?
I think she did get home free, and but I think she didn't change her phone number though. But I think that when she was in Ohio, old David Murdoch just basically let her chill.
Right.
But he's found out that she was there.
That she was in town.
Right.
He found out that she was visiting.
Right.
Okay.
And then he started texting her relentlessly, and she must not have changed her phone number, but she did block his number, which of course pissed David off. Nice guy, this guy. So
Right.
David went on a mission.
As they often do.
Lisa needed to be taught a lesson. They were supposed to get back together because she had obviously come back to Florida to be with him.
Yeah, sure. That's why she came back.
That's why, yeah. So David tracked her down and decided to go see her. So he knocked on the door and he pushed his way past Lisa's friend and he started yelling for her. And he found her, and he shot her in the head.
Oh,
Bang.
damn.
He stuffed her in a closet, and then he shot her friend.
Oh, double damn.
Yeah. So neighbors and David himself called the police. And when they arrived, they found that Lisa's friend was barely alive. And she was able to tell them that it was David that did it.
Because we didn't know until then.
Right. Or
Yeah.
it didn't say what David said when he called the police. He might have just been trying to, I heard gunshots.
Sure.
But in the interrogation,
Was Lisa already dead then?
yes, she was
So he shot and killed her right then.
right.
Excuse me. And the girlfriend survived.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, I think she died later, but I don't remember. I wrote these notes about a week ago. So, so in the interrogation, David was asked why he had done it, and good old Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, the greatest sheriff in the entire country, he said that that David had told him that he had found God and believed that Lisa had been possessed by the devil.
Oh.
I mean, she obviously had to, that had to have been it, because why else would she reject a total perfect male specimen like the almighty David Murdoch? Like, I'm David.
Right?
I'm David. You knew that was coming, Todd. You knew that was coming.
Oh, I did.
So,
We're idiots.
Grady Judd in an interview said that they were going to throw the book at him, and they did. And he was charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder. Okay, so I guess the friend did survive. Armed burglary with assault and battery, and shooting into a building.
No.
He's being held at the Polk County Jail without bond, and I couldn't find any other information on it, on his sentencing
And
or
what
anything
facility
like that.
is he in?
He is at where is that? He was
that
at
a
he was
Polk
at the
County?
Polk County
Okay.
Jail, but he's been in there more than a year, so so he's got to be in prison by now. But the information that I had didn't say. Sources for that were the Orlando Sentinel, Fox 13 Tampa, the Bradenton Herald, the Bay News 9, even the Miami Herald, and the Associated Press. So
Right on.
There's like a plethora of stories about this chucklehead.
Right on.
Now, what do we know about Lisa? What was her story? Sometimes we hear so much about the killer, and sometimes even a little glorified, and we don't always hear about the victim. you know?
There wasn't a lot of information, backstory on Lisa. We don't glorify the killers on this show.
And I'm not suggesting that. I'm just
we
culture, society in general. We know a lot more about Charles Manson
Right.
than maybe we do about the LaBiancas.
Right.
Sort of,
But it just excuse me. She I'm guessing that she kind of sort of had her head on straight because she was able to just pack up and move and then come back for a visit. So you can't do something just like on the spur of the moment, say I'm going to leave Florida and go to Ohio. Unless you've got money, something going on.
have
Or
a
you're scared
plan.
shitless
Yeah.
and you're trying to get as far away as you can.
Right, that too.
Okay.
But I wish there was more on her, but she, there just isn't.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
So,
Like to get all sides of the story.
right.
Absolutely.
And we usually do present all sides on the cases that there's a lot more information.
I'm a
about.
fan. I love listening to you guys. It's always very well done.
Thank
In
you.
depth.
Thanks, man.
We
I am a
appreciate
fan.
that.
We appreciate that.
So, okay, I gotta hear your story, and what we're gonna do with this particular story, I'll take one, is we're gonna revisit our third episode, which was William Cruse. And we're
Sorry.
not gonna go back and tell the whole story or anything like that. If you want to hear the whole story, just go listen to episode 3. So William Cruse was a spree killer in Palm Bay, Florida, and he had some screws loosed and everything. And
But he was not gay.
He was not. He was definitely not gay.
Let's get that
He was
clear.
not gay.
He was not
right,
gay.
right at the beginning.
He wanted everybody to know that he wasn't gay. I ain't
No
gay.
mistake.
Get off my lawn. I ain't gay. Ring up my groceries. I ain't gay.
All right.
I can't come up with another one, but William Cruse ain't gay.
and that the awkward moment of silence there was brought to you by Bud Light.
I ain't gay either. So, and just one, the neighborhood people were picking on him and stuff like that because he was such a douche canoe, and he just flipped one day and he just went on a rampage. He killed a teenager, he shot a teenager, and then he drove to a shopping center, a Kmart shopping center, and just started shooting people. And then he went across the street to another shopping center where he started shooting people again, and he did kind of a siege there and took hostages. And one of his hostages eventually got him to stand down and turn himself in. And she was Robin Murcha, I believe was her name. And that episode did a lot for CKCB because, it's still the only podcast episode about William Cruse. And, but the wife of one of the police officers that was killed reached out to us. Our episode on him, on William Cruse, was actually the first podcast that she had ever listened to, and she loved it. And so I'm friends with her on Facebook. She's a really, really nice woman.
Yeah, that's cool.
And for us being, rookies at the time, for something like that to happen to us that early on our existence, it was like we were, Todd and I were both honored by it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, because I've always had this opinion. I'm like, Bill asked me to do this podcast with him. I said, yeah, sure. If nothing happens, nothing happens. And then like our third episode in, and that happened. Way, I was like, dude, I never expected anything like that.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, and we're growing. This time next year, a lot more people are going to know who we are. We just had our 1 year anniversary, and we hope you loved our, the episode that we released on the 1st of April.
Yeah.
Anyway. But anyway, that's the gist of the story. Now, DL here has his own side of it, and he has a story that first. I'm just going to turn it over to him because this story is going to blow your freaking mind.
Yep.
Well, not like it's a different side to it. I mean, the guy was a non-gay killer.
Right.
It's just how I was introduced to the story.
Right.
Maybe interesting or maybe not.
But you wound up, as a result of that story, doing something about that story.
Right.
And then that resulting in another crazy Florida
the story
crime.
had legs.
Yes.
So to speak.
So this is an exclusive. This story has never been told on any type of media. I mean, I'm sure he's told it to friends or whatever, but this is an exclusive. So buckle up and drink, bitches.
So
Anyway.
This is what it was, late April '87,
Right.
23rd, something like that.
Something like that.
Springtime, Florida. I was married at the time. My wife and I were in Daytona Beach. We went to see the Kansas concert. Kansas was a wildly popular rock group with us old-timers back in the 1970s and early 80s.
Carry on.
Yes. Thank you, my wayward son. So they were experiencing their last little gasp of major label success. Kansas, that is, in 1987. So
Ocean Center?
we go to the Daytona Ocean Center to see Kansas. The Gary Rossington Band was the opening act, which, when he passed recently, that made it as much Skinner as what Skinner is now.
Oh, yeah.
So I was probably as excited to see the Gary Rossington band open as I was about seeing Kansas. Also because his wife, Dale Krantz, I've had a mad thing for since Rossington Collins in 1980. So actually, Gary Rossington and Kansas could both fuck off. I wanted to see Dale Krantz because she was the singer for the Gary Rossington band.
Oh, okay.
Right.
She was hot. She was a stone cold fox in 1980. She was a fox in 87. And from some of the recent stuff that I've seen online recently, even at 109, she is red hot, stone
she's still
cold
smoking.
foxy now. So Dale Krantz. So anyway, I was in Daytona at the Dale Krantz concert. And my wife and I, we leave the show, headed home. We lived in Melbourne at that time. Hadn't quite made it down to Palm Bay yet, but close enough. So you've got to, you're going down A1A, you take a little offshoot
Beachfront
there.
Avenue.
And you got a little cut off there at Port Orange, taking you over to 95, and then you're home free. So on that little stretch connecting 95 to A1A, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. So you got to get a fresh Mountain Dew, fresh bag of barbecue Fritos, a little something to munch on for the hour and a half ride home. Shit. Better pick up a pack of smokes while I'm here too. Right. So you go into this little convenience store. And it's about 11 o'clock, 23rd of April, and the convenience store clerk cards me for the cigarettes. Pull my ID out, and he's looking at the ID.
I'm good.
And he's like, wow, Melbourne. He goes, that's right by Palm Bay. I was like, yeah, spitting
so
distance. And he goes, boy, you guys are all over the news tonight. I'm like, what? Really? What's going on? He goes, dude, some crazy mother is down in Palm Bay shooting the place up, killed a bunch of cops, took hostages, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So Trish and I, we would have had, Bon Jovi or Def Leppard or Weird Al or something in the cassette deck,
Weird Al.
on the way home. So I get out to the car and I go, here, take the Whitney Houston out of the deck. Let's find some news and see what's going on. We tuned into some news, and the guy was right. There was this major national news story erupting all over the media waves in that moment in real time. It's like, holy cow, trying to play catch up and get all of the all the details.
Right, because this is pre-internet, folks.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's good to point out, because even an old timer like myself, sometimes I forget how relatively new some of this technology is still. The first 25, 30, 35 years of my life anyway, we were writing down directions to left on Main Street, so
You had to unfold the paper map and go, I think I'm going here.
the first major arena concert tour that I worked on was in 2006. And I remember being on the tour bus, 2006, and it was the first time I remember seeing this little device stuck to the dashboard of the tour bus. And I was friends with the bus driver, because I was the only guy who wasn't fucked up every night. So I'm the one sitting up at 3 a.m, shotgun, talking about Johnny Cash and Loretta Lynn with the bus driver,
Keeping the bus driver awake.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this little device on the dashboard of the tour bus. Is like, that's pretty crazy. It's a GPS. Cool.
What's a GPS?
What's a GPS?
What's that
And he's
do?
explaining it to me, and it's like, shit, man, like voodoo. That. What was the guy's name? David what?
Murdoch.
David Murdoch was going to have to come and put a voodoo hex on him or something. What is this? And that was only. That was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, for the young people, 17 years was more than a lifetime ago.
Yes.
But for Dale Krantz, 17 years is, last week.
Last week.
You know.
Yes.
So anyway, but that's a good point, Bill. None of this technology that we have now, other than my 8-track deck, you know, it was all a whole different world. So we're trying to play catch up, changing stations on the FM radio dial on the way home, trying to get different accounts, different reports, and so on. And then by the time we got home, we turn on the TV. Wow, crazy. So you guys did a great job in your original edition installment on this story.
Thank you.
But yeah, they took him in, and as these kinds of cases often do, you know, he's jerking off the system and, you know, going through that whole process, and it's taking forever in a situation that you would think would be cut and dry.
Yeah.
It's now taken forever. So this happened in April '87, and coming around the holidays, maybe first part of '88, he would have been in the system now, probably 8-9 months or so. And I was gone over to visit my mother, and we were talking about this case because even 9-10 months later, this was still
big news.
It's big news. And she says, well, you know, did you see in the paper today, William Cruse is going on a hunger strike? Like, cool. You know,
Let him starve to death.
Yeah,
let him starve to death. And she says, well, you know, there are certain people that believe that if he was allowed to starve himself to death, he would somehow be denying himself of his own constitutional right. You know, that whole
God.
and that, you
Those
know,
people.
we might have to have some of those people intervene and, you know, force him to take nutrition so that he doesn't die. And I'm just listening to this psychobabble. And she says, yeah, and if they had to force feed him, the means by which they would use would be through the nose. They would put a feeding tube in his nose and feed him sort of intravenously, but through a tube in the nose. And being a degenerate 23-year-old punk rock ignorant buffoon, dictard at the time.
Dictard,
not that much has changed, but especially 1987. I'm 24 years old at that point, and we were just it was dead serious. Notorious dumbasses.
But we loved it.
So I'm thinking, thinking to myself in very real terms, not figuratively, just legit terms, how great a gig it would be as a citizen of Brevard County to have the opportunity to force feed this guy, especially, you know, literally without the tube. If you could like shove a ham sandwich, you know, right up this guy's nose, a little Chateaubriand on a half bun or something, just, and, you know, and I just thought that was, it was sort of silly. It was goofy. It was funny, but also it was also very real. It was very genuine because I had a real sense of community. I felt for the victims. I felt for the community. I just felt for everybody who was victimized in some way by this guy who seemed to be seemed to be more care and concern for the welfare of William Cruse than for our community.
Those 6 people that were murdered and the countless others who were injured.
Yeah. So being the, you know, community voice of reason that I was in 1985 at 24, I wrote this song called I Want to Force Feed William Cruse. Yes. Because it was like, what a gig in Brevard County. Who wouldn't?
I know.
Want to have the gig, you know, to shove a Twix bar up this guy's nose or whatever.
Wherever.
So we took it quite literally. And
no, not a Twix bar.
Not a Twix bar.
Some freaking nuclear hot sauce, chicken wings.
Whatever,
Right up his ass.
Right up his
whatever was
nose.
on the menu in catering that day.
But no, I like the nuclear hot wings scenario better because that would have hurt him even more.
Anyway,
We wrote this just nincompoopy 2-minute punk rock. I want to force Sweet William Cruse. Not realize, just thinking it was just us being dumbasses amongst the four of us. And then we started playing it live.
yeah.
And it started resonating with the audience. People were relating to what our feeling was in our hearts, where we were coming from. And we are getting ready to do a new album at that time called Blow Chunks. And
Great album.
right about that time, we were doing a show. I used to do a bit with a toilet on stage, and we did I would have like 17, 18 empty beer cans on stage. And during the show, I would go through each beer can one by one. Now, they were empty, but the audience didn't know they were empty. So it would look like I'm just chugging them.
Chugging beers.
Boom,
and
chugging beer after beer after beer. And I would intentionally be sort of staggering and slurring a little bit more as the show went on. Sober as a church mouse.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
But, that was part of. Then we would get to the final can. That would be the dummy can, and it would be filled with cream of mushroom soup. So I would take a big chug of that last beer can right at the end of the show, get a big old mouthful of cream of mushroom soup, and oh boy, that was the last beer. I couldn't take any more. I think I'm going to be sick. And grab drop to my knees and grab the rim of this toilet bowl and just let it spew. So stupid, moronic, juvenile,
But brilliant.
But brilliant.
tastelessly brilliant.
Yes.
But there's one night, all we did at that time were all ages shows. So we weren't going to be doing Brown Eyed Girl or anything,
Right.
like that. So I was renting concert halls and booking local bands and so on, original music. Even back then at 24, I had a briefcase and, booking bands and so on. So there was a kid at one of these all ages shows that we did. He was probably 15, Jason Raymer, and he had this camera with this freaking telephoto lens on the front, and he's right up front, and he got the most superb color, crisp, high resolution shot of me fake puking on stage, and you just see every drop splattering. Yikes! Splattering off the toilet rim and so on. It was just, and I remember. I remember showing the picture to my wife at the time. And I go, here you go. This is great. This is an album. This is the next album cover, honey. She's like, oh, that is so gross. And I go, yeah, but with a cover like this, the name of the new album,
Blow Chunks.
Blow Chunks. She is like, no, you cannot. You cannot. I forbid you. Oh, now we have a problem. Now we got the bank teller with the Bon Jovi mall hair forbidding me to use this vomit photo as my album cover and forbidding me to call the album Blow Chunks. Boom.
God.
Within a month, we had our latest cassette release out called Blow Chunks.
Cassettes. I remember those.
The
days.
lead-in track on Blow Chunks was I Want to Force Sweet William Cruse. So now, when this little record comes out and hits Central Florida, it really starts to explode. It's more than just becoming a live concert staple. Now it's getting radio airplay.
Yeah.
We won the Battle of the Bands at the County Line Saloon in the summer of 1988. And I remember driving home from the club that night in my little pickup truck with this big-ass trophy on the passenger's seat with the radio on, listening to WFIT. It's 2:00 in the morning. I'm driving home, just winning the Battle of the Bands with the trophy. And as I'm turning the radio on, they're playing, WFIT is playing I Want to Force Feed William
Cruse. Your song. Hell yeah.
You're like, oh, hell yeah.
So that's what was happening. But that was really the song that really broke us out, at least in terms of Central Florida. Not that the band was worth a shit, but
No,
that song
great,
really,
man.
that song connected with people. People felt what we were feeling, and they agreed. Next thing I know, Florida Today newspaper, back years ago, there was a newspaper in Brevard County, and it was called Florida Today. Yeah. Now, conversely,
I want to digress just a little bit because I just drove past the old newspaper plant. What the hell is it now? It's not Florida Today. It's not USA Today.
If you look, it's a Chuck E. Cheese. There is a 2-page leaflet now that comes out on a somewhat regular basis that's still called Florida Today.
Yeah.
But the newspaper, I don't even know whatever happened to it. But at the time, Florida Today was the lifeline.
Paper, yeah.
Pre-internet.
Pre-internet.
Todd,
that was pre-internet.
That was the news lifeline here, and they sent. I was working at a record store. And they sent
What's
a reporter.
A record store?
Yeah, right. What the fuck? What are these guys talking about?
A record store called Tape Deck.
Dale Krantz and cassettes and record stores.
An 8-track.
Weirdos.
What the hell's an 8-track?
So I was working at a record store, the Tape Deck. I had just sold Bill a bong at the back counter. Actually, it was for his mom.
She probably could have used it, seriously.
Yeah. So they sent a reporter from the Florida Today to the Tape Deck to interview me. They sent in a cameraman and the whole bit, and they did this nice feature story. So during the summer of '88, this story and this song is just exploding on all these different media platforms before we knew what media platforms were. And to this day, my music project really is more of a solo endeavor now. But in the days, it was the band Dead Serious. Now I pursue it mainly as a solo act, DL Serious. But right up till the very end of our Dead Serious band existence, that song, I Want to Force Feed William Cruse, we still couldn't play, at least in this town, our hometown, without doing that song. Yeah. And over the years, it never ceased to amaze me, people that would come up, and they wouldn't be bullshitting, because you can tell, you can look in somebody's eye and tell when see what's in their heart.
Absolutely.
And people that would say, hey, my dad was there that day. My uncle was one of those police officers that were, you know, and right on,
and
man.
They love it. Yeah,
you know?
dude.
So it just, the song just had legs and stayed with us right till the end of the band.
That's awesome.
My girlfriend, who I have been seeing for good grief, doing fast math, 7 years now.
All right.
I was over at her house the other night having dinner. And her mother comes into the dining room, sitting down. Okay, great. So Bonnie's going to have dinner with us. And I was mentioning to my girlfriend that I was going to be coming on with you guys and doing this podcast. Her mother, Bonnie, pipes up and she goes, I was there.
Oh, wow.
I said, you were where? She goes, I was at
the Wood Ducky?
Publix before he went across. I don't even get that. It was a news story. Why you couldn't use the real name of the real store in a news story, that just seems,
I have no idea.
No, it was a documentary.
It's still a documentary. It's a news story, man. Potato. Anyway, so he started out at the corner of Babcock Street and Palm Bay Road.
Yes.
And he started on the east side of the road at the Publix shopping center, Kmart shopping center. That's where it began. Now, Bonnie, my girlfriend's mother, she was there firsthand with her husband. He did not go into, this is per my source anyway.
Yeah.
He did not go into any of the stores in the plaza on the east side of the road. He was taking fire. The cops were there. It was intense. She claims to have actually felt one of his bullets whizzing past her. And before she knows it, he has made it across the street because they would not leave. The police would not leave the public shopping center.
Yeah.
So William Cruse has made it across the street now to the Winn-Dixie Plaza, but nobody that was at the Publix Plaza was allowed to cross the street. So Bonnie is, they're talking to police officers and they're being questioned and so on and so forth. And it is her claim that the police had him in sight and could have easily taken him out.
Stopped it, yeah.
And they were told by whoever, I don't know who, but they were told by whoever to stand down.
To stand down.
Damn.
Now that's a whole conspiracy thing. Who knows? That's just information that I got from somebody who was fact check who was there.
Yeah.
So it's just very, very interesting. And then, you guys did such a great job of reporting of how the story played out. But that's my personal little insights there, having dinner the other night with a woman who was actually there and saw this tragedy playing out, and how I was able to
I could even imagine
how I've been connected to it for.
That's awesome, brother.
then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I really, and I kicked myself in the ass for not doing this, for not reaching out. We should have had you on board with that episode.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I don't know if I agree, because you guys, I'm not just giving you lip service.
I understand.
I thought the conversation that you guys had with no outside distraction, nobody interrupting, let me say something funny here. I think that was probably exactly the way you should have done it, because I as a listener, as a fan of you guys as a listener, I thought you did a fine job, and anybody else in that mix might have been a distraction.
That's true, and we were still figuring out, figuring it. This was his first foray into this period, and this was my first time in the big chair as the lead host. So we were still trying to figure things out at that point.
We were when we did that episode. I remember that happening. I remember seeing it on the news, and I remember all that. But I was just like, I don't remember anything. I remember it happened, and that's it. And then Bill's telling me all these details.
The only reason I would, such an authority on it is just because of the song.
Yeah.
Had that not happened, I wouldn't be. I would be less in the loop, possibly, than you guys. So.
No. That's the thing. That's me and Bill started this. Like, Bill's like, the very first one we did. Bill's like, don't do any research on this. I want you cold. I'm like, all right. And I was like, dude, this dynamic works. So you just come up with the stories, and I'll just react.
Yeah, but now he gets to do all the tech stuff.
Yeah, now I'm the tech guy.
A lot of colors.
Yes, it's
it
very
is.
pretty, isn't it?
It's sort of like at the old video arcades when you would dance on the tiles. And
I was
so
saying it has a disco look to it
Yes,
earlier
absolutely.
today.
I can change the colors.
It's
No,
very,
absolutely don't.
very like a little John Travolta icon would come dancing across those.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, dude, and these buttons make noises. I don't have them in, so it won't get recorded. But look, we can do this. Oh, we can't hear it. Why can't we hear it? What the fuck? I don't have it turned up.
There it is.
And then,
Oh, I know that sound. Yeah. Recorded live at the Dead Serios concert.
For
the crickets, and then
no, we'll drop that sound effect that he played into it.
I'll put it in later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that channel going in, so it's not, that didn't get recorded. But
funny.
there's so much shit this thing can do. I've not just scratched the surface of it.
I want to say, because I hadn't, when this went down, I hadn't, I was in junior high school, And I obviously hadn't met Chris yet, other than like when I would go to the tape deck and buy albums
And bongs for your mom,
and bongs for my mom.
dude. There's your next album title.
Bongs
For your mom.
But even then, you know, I didn't know who Dead Serious was. I know that I would call up the concert line that you had on the
Hi,
radio.
thanks for calling the Tape Deck Concert News Line. Coming up at the Lakeland Civic Center, November 10th, it's Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue.
I was
Coming
at
up the
that
next
show.
night, on the 11th, it's at the Daytona Ocean Center. It's Conway Twitty and Neil Simon. Yeah.
I remember
it's
when
still-
Bon Jovi came.
good.
Bon Jovi came to town. You were like, and so at the Ocean Center, it's Bon Jovi.
I would like dog on these bands. I forgot all about that. Yeah, I was kind of funny back then.
But I mean, I didn't know DL at that time. I just knew him. I knew who he was as at the record store. I didn't really know anything about Dead Serious other than like. And whenever Dead Serious would play a show on that recording, it would be like, and on April 23rd, long song recording artist Dead Serious.
When you own the platform, man, you just milk it for all of...
But the crazy thing about that, you know, about that LLC that you had, long song, your songs weren't long.
Exactly. Everything is always tongue in cheek.
I was going to
It's
say,
all-
wasn't that the point?
But what my point for all of that was, I was in junior high school. I was at Johnson Junior High, and and it's just like I started, you know, some of my friends were talking about it, like, oh, Dead Serious, that song, I Want a 4-Speed William Cruse. And then when the album came out, I heard it, and that was like that song was my first exposure to Dead Serious. And then a couple years later, I got into the band scene, and that's how you and I met. But it's like,
And now the room has become so big, and there's so much noise in that room. I don't know that a young upcoming local type artist could ever have that opportunity.
Yeah,
again.
I don't think the opportunity's
no.
there anymore.
I don't want to be like the old guy. Well, those were the good old days.
but it's
and
the
you
truth.
kids,
It's the truth.
But it really is the truth in terms of creating art
Yes.
and having some uniqueness in your own identity and the ability to really connect with an audience who's going to connect with you and really
Yeah.
resonate and run with it. I think that those, sadly, for artists, those days are done.
Yeah.
But people listen, believe me when I say, and go on YouTube. You can find videos of this band, like the Pleasure Island show, where you guys played "Peanuts Are Evil." That video's on YouTube, I know, and that's a great song. And
That's a great clip, man, because that was
forgot about that.
It
that
sounds
was
good.
That was TV broadcast show.
it sounds good and it looks good.
That wasn't somebody who got an 8mm in there. That was multi-camera, pro, world-class shot for television broadcast. So
What do you got in your
yeah,
pocket?
very-
Nothing. Smoking a video camera. I'm bootlegging this show.
Yeah. It was the real deal. The only thing with there's I believe 2 cuts from that show that we did. We did the show in Pleasure Island. It's owned by Mickey
Yes.
over in
Disney.
Orlando.
Not there anymore.
I was going to say, is that even a thing anymore?
What's that?
Pleasure
Pleasure
Island's gone.
What
Pleasure Island's gone.
is it really?
Yeah, it's something else now. I'm not
Shows
sure
how much
exactly.
I pay attention to the Mouse
It's
Enterprise.
It's
Yeah.
dude, what is it? I've been there. It's something. It's just basically the same thing, but they call it something.
Right,
else.
right. Because you still got House of Blues, you got all the restaurants, and those
Now,
would never go
interesting-
anywhere.
Now I'm going to digress a little bit. Interesting thing. Pleasure Island was built by Disney specifically to put Church Street Station under.
Sure, I would
And
believe that.
Now Church Street Station, and I heard this story on a podcast that I love called Florida Man on Florida Man, and we're supposedly going to be doing a collab with them
Makes me
before
very
too long.
uncomfortable.
I know, right?
But apparently the guy that did Church Street Station did it like somewhere in Ohio, I think, and it was a wild success. So the planners, the city planners in Orlando wanted to duplicate that. They wanted to bring life to the downtown area, so they brought this guy in who was successful. And like I said, I think it was in Ohio, and he
Before
did, and he-
Orlando?
Huh?
He did this in Ohio before
Before
Orlando.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Church Street Station was his
This is like
second
50
go
years
at it.
ago.
I know,
This is
right?
a long time.
A long time
Yeah.
ago. But Church Street Station turned out to be an even bigger success than what he had done in I think it was Orlando or Ohio, but
Sure.
I'm not sure. But that, just hashtag. But I digress. But that's an interesting story. And by the way, our little hashtag. But I digress. That came from the wife of that police officer.
Oh, right.
So it's just like
Yes.
that. Every time we say hashtag, but I digress on this, that's a call to
That's
her
from her.
because she
Yep.
said that she coined that phrase for us.
Yes, that's awesome.
but I did just a little bit of little bit of history because and unfortunately I mean Church Street Station is starting to make a little bit of a resurgence but for about 20 years it was a ghost town there.
Sure.
But anyway,
Well, at that time, you will, I'm sure, remember there was a popular music magazine, paper print magazine. He's more of this
Jam
crazy
magazine.
stuff.
Yeah,
these
Jam
kids stuff.
magazine, yeah.
It was Jam magazine, and the owners of Jam magazine pitched and sold their weekly TV series called Club Jam. And so during the summer of 91, they shot all these live original bands in concert on the big mega stage at Pleasure Island. And then by the time we got to the holidays or whatever, beginning of 92, they had a season's worth of episodes edited and so on. So that's how a band like Dead Serious and Brave New Tribe and so many others at the time got great broadcast quality exposure and resources.
Right.
The interesting thing is the quality, even looking back 30 years, some of the graphics are a little, dated, but
it still looks good. It still looks good.
That was a huge stage and so on and so forth. But the only thing is, we talk about what a crazy no holds barred sort of live show that Dead Serious did. You look at the two clips online from the Club Jam TV show and it looks tame. It looks like, Martha Stewart. Why? We were in the
Disney
dressing trailer backstage. They set us up with our little mobile home thing and we're getting ready to go on. And there's a knock at the door. A woman, hair in the bun, business suit with the clipboard, with the thing in her ear. She comes into our trailer with finger pointing. She goes, "Look, listen to me."
Oh shit! I know where this is going.
To me, we know about your band. We have heard all about your little Dead Serious band. If any of you all think for a second that you are going to get on Walt Disney's stage tonight and do anything inappropriate, and da. Let me tell you something. You, listen to me. We have security manned at every.
We have snipers.
At every power point in the park. The first time we hear an FU, the first time we hear a this or that, our security has been instructed to cut the power on you idiots. And believe me, I've heard your band. I hope you give us reason to shut you down.
Oh God!
So that was the kind of.
You should have done it on the very with 10 seconds left in the last.
At that point, you ain't getting away.
No,
you ain't getting away with anything.
He did the right thing. He's like, all right, you think you know me? Watch this.
So we went in, we did our show, we did it PG, and we got the TV exposure, and it's. I just think it was really interesting. I doubt that many other bands got that same visit.
By that. That's fucking great.
Very, very few bands probably had that visit from the Mouse Patrol.
Let me tell you this.
For context, people, Dead Serious, they had a Mr. Potato Head doll that was about 4 feet tall with a pipe that stuck out of its mouth, and the song "No More Pipe for Potato Head," it was basically it was written because the Surgeon General decided that Mr. Potato Head's pipe wanted to would make kids want to grow up and smoke. So the pipe was banned. So DL here wrote a song about it called "No More Pipe for Potato Head," and somebody put this 4-foot tall Mr. Potato Head doll together with a pipe that shot pyro out of the
flame. Our guitarist Doug Gibson, he designed with the blueprints. We go out to the warehouse. How the engineers, they have the tube and they pull out the blueprint.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. He brings that into rehearsal, and next thing we know, it's a life-size Potato Head, like a Disney figure.
Yeah.
We had to set him up on this stand, and his pipe was set up to a rocket igniter. So we had one of our guys backstage, and at a certain cue on the song, he would hit the little launcher thing.
Yeah, the little model
and
rocket
it would
thing.
shoot this huge flame out of its pipe. Indoors. Inside a 1,500 person venue, we would smoke the shit out. People would be, even in a venue that big, that much gunpowder in the pipe that big, flame this high, it would just, and you had people choking, running for cover. It was beautiful. But even that was, that was, I don't think that's what, because in case it was unclear, Pleasure Island, where we were cutting the TV shows, was part of Disney World.
Yes.
So that's why there was that issue. I don't think that their problem was so much an exploding potato head. It probably had more to do with the simulated oral sex on mannequins and the vomit and the naked girls, and that sort of thing was probably more of the concern. Fortunately, though, the potato head and really, really cool stuff like that is what has,
that's what you're remembered for.
Is what has.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going next. And people, we're going to continue with the second part of the story. I promise. But
why? I liked where this is going.
Well,
this is fine.
No, wait till you hear the second part of the story, Todd. But
all right, you tell your toy mower story, then I got a toy mower story.
So they have a song called "Lawn Care Studs."
Yes.
And during that song, there's like a dun, 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 breakdown in it, where DL with a Fisher Price has a toy lawnmower would just jump out on stage and just like mow the lawn and everything. And then at the end of the song, or at the end of the set, he would like Pete Townsend style smash the.
It was an accident. The whole thing was an absurd.
I was at this show. I remember.
It was absurd accident. At that time, it's 1989. I'm 26, and at night we're doing shows. We're playing somewhere, traveling around Florida, playing somewhere almost 7 nights a week, and I'll bet that's me. Is that me or is that you?
It's not me.
There is never any reason for anybody to ever call that phone under any circumstance. I guarantee you, whoever is on the other end of that, it's going to be a waste of my time.
Yeah, they're
absolutely.
I guarantee you.
They're trying to contact you about your car's warranty.
Yeah, exactly. And how I can lengthen and thicken my penis. Anyway, at that time, we were playing out practically every night, and then I was working 2 day gigs early in the morning, 5, 6 a.m. till noon. Yeah. I was working lawn service, and then from the afternoon into early evening, I was working at the record store selling Bill's mother bongs.
Selling Bill's bongs.
So
I love it.
So every morning, 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week. 5, 6 a.m. till around noon, there I am on the back of the work truck, ass hanging off the back of the truck, and we got the gloves and the big floppy hat and all that sort. And there I am mowing and it was right down the street, dude. 520.
Yep.
If you know where the Starbucks is,
yes.
on 520, right across the street from there is St. Lucie Gardens. And it is an apartment complex. And then on Brevard Avenue, a little bit over and down, there was another. Those were our 2 Cocoa Beach accounts.
Yeah.
Huge, sprawling apartment complexes. They sucked. Those gigs were grueling. And I remember the boss of the lawn crew, Mr. Z, Billy Ziggiano or whatever, you know.
I've never heard this backstory before.
He
This is
used
awesome.
to call me, he called me Mr. Meticulous. Because it would take me all day to do nothing, but it would be done beautifully. He goes, hey, Mr. Meticulous, hey, let's get you on this flower bed over there. Because quite frankly, if I put you with one of the mowers, you're gonna wind up in the fucking lake. So we're gonna put you someplace safe. We're gonna have you lay in this flower bed, and you got all day. But at the end of the day, we need it weeded meticulously and beautifully. Can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like, hey, bada, like right out of the song, and you go, bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. Good one, Mr. Meticulous. So he puts me in this flower bed, and it's like freaking red fire ants and mosquitoes, and it's hot, and it just sucks. It's Florida in August. It's just brutal. And I'm thinking something good has to come out of this shitty gig.
Right.
At least, you know, maybe I could like write a song or something. And it was as if I could already hear Bill Irwin's little snare cadence, brum, brum, little marching cane, da 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 da. And it's like, you know, picking off fire ants, pull the mower off the truck and let's go,
guys.
So we did that. I wrote these stupid lyrics, but they were real.
Yeah.
You know, you can't fake the heartfelt authenticity of those old Dead Serios songs.
No,
That
you cannot.
shit was all based on real life. So I wrote these lyrics, took them in, and next thing you know, we had this ridiculous, like, monolithic 6-minute freaking garage punk rock epic called Lawn Care Studs. I didn't think anything about it. I didn't think it was just it was like the William Cruse thing. It was just another song on our set list. And we started playing it and it was like going over pretty good. And then I thought, because the show had been developing, you know, I'm gonna stop in at the toy store next to the record store and grab one of those little toy lawnmowers and just have it sitting up on the drum riser, just as like a little visual for when we do this song. Okay. Now, I have most of my life, despite how involved I've been in the music business and doing music on my own and working for my rock star heroes and all that kind of
Right.
I have always harbored pretty considerable disdain for rock stars, the rock star mentality. And there's just so much to make fun of there. You know?
Absolutely.
So the one night at the end of the show, and we're doing this big, we always did this big, you know, trash can ending at the, you guys were pretty much quoting it verbatim on the other episode. So the one night, as we're doing this, you know, big trash can ending, something in my, probably at that time, 26-year-old demented brain, I grabbed the mower and in like a mockery, because you got Paul Stanley and Pete Townsend, the rock stars, they come on and they smash their guitar at the end. Oh, look at us.
Smashing a perfectly good guitar.
When they can afford it, you know. Now that it was not only dopey, but it was just fake. You know, what kind of skin do they have in the game? You know, they're
Dude, Paul Stanley smashed guitars that cost like $50.
Exactly. And now
they just painted it to look like his guitar.
and when you've got the distributor backstage going, all right, here's your new one for tomorrow. I mean, it's just part of the show.
They're handing him fucking $100 guitars to smash. He's not smashing his fucking $1 million fucking Ibanez
Iceman.
So I grabbed this mower off the drum riser just as a goof, just as sort of a mockery, you know, and boom, he's smashing it like it was. The place goes freaking ape shit. I was there.
I wasn't at that show. I wish I was.
Was it cool? You were there.
I ended up with the handle.
Nice. You probably still have it somewhere.
And I took it up and had him sign it.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Was I a dick?
No, you were awesome.
All
bro.
right.
This was before I really knew you, but you did that. I saw you do that, and I ended up with the handle because I was right there in the front. This was, I think, at the power station. Maybe. I don't remember. But all I know is
I might have been at that show.
I got the handle, the little yellow handle in my hand. And when you guys were done, I went up to you and I'm like, dude, will you sign this? And you're like, fuck yeah, dude. And we found this like brown fucking Sharpie or something, and you signed that fucking handle.
Anytime anybody goes, dude, I met you back in 1980, anything that comes after that A, I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. Let me just apologize.
Dude,
I did not know she was your mom. I didn't know she was your sister. It wasn't my dope. I swear.
It wasn't my dope.
So that
I pull out the litany of prepared apologies to go along with that.
Dude, I thought I still had it, but I was looking for where it was, and it's not in here. I was hoping like I was going to bring it out and have it sitting on the table.
would have been awesome.
I thought it was a one-time thing. I thought I grabbed the mower off the drum riser, I smash it, all right, done. And then we played the next show in town, a few nights later, a week later, and this couple comes up to me. And the husband, he's like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like, what? And he goes, dude, we came all the way from Port St. Lucie. And I'm like, all right, man,
Thank
right
you.
on.
Thanks.
Yeah. And he
Appreciate
leaves
it.
me hanging. He goes, no, fuck you, man. You didn't smash the mower. I'm like, is that a thing? And he goes, fuck yeah, man. We came all the way from Port St. Lucie. They didn't give a shit about the band. They came all the way from Port
Just to
St.
see you
Lucie
smash the damn mower.
with their table of friends from the garden club, to
sipping their Chardonnay.
to see this idiot smashing the mower. And I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess it's a thing now. So it became a thing. And ever since then, that was part of the show, is smashing this.
So
Actually,
then
you know what?
these
Actually, you know
mowers.
what though? It may not have been the first time you did it. It may have been later on.
But when did your little like leading the mosh pit start?
Oh, yeah, that would have been the next level. It started with the song, then we introduced the mower into it, then we introduced the mower smash at the end, and then during the song, at one point, we really were having like legit
Mosh
hardcore
pits, yeah.
mosh crowd
yeah.
that would come in.
I cracked my hip in one of your mosh pits.
And I didn't give a, So
Right?
when I started noticing that during lawn care studs, these pits were breaking out. So I would grab the mower and jump down into
Yep,
the
I
mosh
remember
pit.
that. I've seen
and
that
these
happen.
kids would follow me around like this little crazy lawn care procession,
Lawn care groupies.
Then I learned my lesson because shortly after that, we only ever had two. Well, we had a few gigs that would have been bad gigs, but there was only two where I really felt nervous or scared for my life. And right
all had
after
those.
we got in January 1991, we got the Entertainer of the Year award.
Yep, I
I remember that.
It was the ultimate accolade, that moment that says this band is the biggest, finest example. This is
You're the shit.
king of the shit.
And
hill,
then the following year you had to present to fucking Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids.
right. And that was the
That
bit.
That was everybody just let out a
Whoever won in 1990 presented it to the Cats in 91.
like Stranger presented it to you.
Stranger gave it to us,
Oh,
and then
damn,
we gave
dude.
it
There you go.
to Marilyn
Manson.
Manson. So right after we got Entertainer of the Year, while that took us to a whole nother level of public domain notoriety.
Yes.
The kids, the real punks, the real hardcore thrash, mosh pit, fuck you punks, who never really liked us to begin with, now really hated us. Because to the Bon Jovi people, we were hardcore punk. But to the real hardcore punks, we were complete fags. And I can use that word because that's how they thought of us back then.
Yeah.
That's not me saying it. That's
them.
That's all right. So how do I know that? We got right after our first two shows, after we got Entertainer of the Year in 1991, Our first one was opening for Agnostic Front.
Oh,
okay.
Oh yeah.
Iconic hardcore band. Not the best fit for Dead Serious.
Yeah.
And so it was Dead Serious, Genitortures, and Agnostic
The
Front.
Genitorture.
Oh, so you have a punk comedy metal act, and you have another serious gimmick act with the Genitorture. I haven't done that all year.
Genitortures.
That
Genitorture.
And then Agnostic Front.
I don't think the Genitortures were like really gimmick.
Did Michael Lang
She
book that
believed
show?
that shit. I don't think that was a gimmick. That
wasn't a gimmick. She was really doing that
true.
shit to
was
those people.
straight legit, which was part of the problem.
Yeah.
But did Michael Lang book that show? Fire!
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 So I've hijacked this episode too
That's
much.
all right.
No, you
It's all
haven't,
right.
brother. This is awesome.
It
dude.
was,
I'm loving it, bro.
So we had everything was popping so much. The guys from the band Poison were connected to Bobby Dahl, the bass player, was from this area. So I knew Bobby. He was aware of what was going on. He hated the band, as he probably should have, but he was aware of what was going on. So next thing I know, one of their tour guys, Ricky Valentine, is now all of a sudden in Brevard County as if he had been sent on a mission, to sort of take things over with Dead Serious in terms of like management, booking, security, everything we needed. Ricky appeared in our world, and he was the utilitarian guy. Yeah. And then a couple of months after that, a guy named Jimmy showed up from LA. He's packing up our road cases. And it's like, well, who are you? He goes, I'm Jimmy. I was sent from LA. Sent from LA.
Sent from LA. What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, and so then we had management in LA, and all this stuff was happening. And so the purists were not digging it. We had lost any cred we had lost.
Well, not with me, bro. I always fucking loved you guys, dude.
And I appreciate that. That was
and you guys, dude. I was like you and AWOL. Dude, it was like, dude, Dead Serious and AWOL are playing. We're there.
I still got the old AWOL tattoo right here. At will of the Lord.
Yep.
So at one point, some kid in the crowd, this was the Agnostic Front show, had like a rocks glass. Bigger than the shot glass, but definitely it was not a soda glass. It was a shot glass, right, and with the slice of lemon still in it, and the ice cubes. This kid takes this rocks glass from the crowd and throws it at the stage. It whizzes by, just misses me, but it clocks our drummer Bill Irwin, clocks like right in the cheekbone, man. And so as much of a close call as it was for me to dodge it, it pegged him pretty good. My wife, who was the stunt double for Heather Locklear at the time, fact check. She was off to the side with her, fabulous. Lita Ford, "Kiss Me Deadly." That was my ex-wife. Okay,
I got you. Yeah.
So she's off to the side. She sees this kid throw this glass up on the stage. She gets Ricky Valentine, our utilitarian savior guy, who was from the streets. He did not give a.
It's not going to go well.
And he was fearless, and he would defend us to the death. So Trish grabs Ricky and goes, "That guy right there just threw a glass at Chris." And he's like, "That kid? That motherfucker right there with the blonde hair and the white shirt, that guy?" And she goes, "Yeah." And he goes tearing like Schwarzenegger, tearing through the crowd.
Imagine.
Grabs this kid by the hair and the back of the shirt and just beating his face in as he drags him through the crowd and throws him out. It's like, tell your friends, don't mess with this band. But the following week,
oh shit,
it got even worse.
Oh no.
The next week it was us, Genitortures, and Guar.
Oh boy.
The entire inside, same venue, the power station.
I was at that show.
The entire inside of the venue is covered in plastic. You
Yep.
know? And and it was instant replay from the week before,
same thing.
except worse.
Oh God.
And I was not fearful at the time. None of us, we didn't give a
Right.
You know. And so lawn care studs, I got the mower and I jump into the crowd for the little mosh pit thing, and then realized this was not a friendly crowd.
This is not my crowd.
I jumped in the crowd. Hey, milk and cookies and the toy mower, and I jump in, and they freaking pummeled me.
pounced.
And boom, just freaking the fists and the kick.
Oh
I
God.
remember that.
Ricky Valentine, he's on stage. He sees this. He dispatches our head of security. It's like we had stage guy, security guy, management guy, all this stuff.
I remember the head of security. That was a big dude.
Guy, wait a second. Al. We called him Rockin' Ral. Let's see. Big Al, the Rockin' Rhino. Yeah. Big Al, the Rockin' Rhino / the Portly Pollock. Because you can say things like that back then.
Yeah, we were allowed.
Ricky is up on stage. He sees what's happening in the crowd. He gets Big Al's attention, and Big Al jumps into this crowd and she disperses
I remember
the
that.
crowd.
I
and
remember that.
Physically has to pull. It's like the Packers and the Cowboys, but there was only one cowboy and a whole bunch of freaking Packers.
Right.
So Al pulls me out of that crowd, and literally, like you would see in a spoof video,
He threw you back on the stage, didn't he?
And carries me up over the crowd and
bench pressing you up
and back on to the stage.
I remember that.
Two gigs
was
back to
there.
back, and by shortly after that, the scene was changing. That 91 was that real transitional.
The
year,
early 90s where everything started switching.
So in 1991, you could have a Lita Ford cassette, maybe in your deck, but
Maybe.
by the end, fill in that blank.
But the thing, I've seen you guys I had seen you guys with Guar twice, and the first time
only once.
Only one.
Really?
Only once. Yeah.
I promise you, people, there's a true crime aspect to the story, and we're getting to it right now.
If I can set this up, let me
Yes.
jump in and stop me if I'm taking you in a wrong direction. We've been talking about how times are different now compared to back then.
Yes.
At that time, 1989, the music scene in Melbourne, Florida, and this is just a fact. In
know you're going.
1989, you had New York, you had Chicago, L.A., Austin, Texas, Atlanta, and Melbourne, Florida. And that's just the way it was. The original music scene was just screaming. But this was 1989. There was no internet. There was no social media. No digital
Barely
means.
even cell phones.
Yeah. No digital means of promoting.
Yeah.
So everything was hard copy. You go and do a photo shoot, and it's photo shoots on film. And you get the contact sheets, and you have the band meeting and get the magnifying glass out.
And you check out, we like this one.
Yeah, we like that one. That one looks cool,
Yeah.
And we would record albums, and everything was released physical.
Yeah.
We were releasing and regularly too. I mean, we were a prolific little bunch of misfits.
Yes.
Vinyl singles, vinyl 12-inch cassettes, CDs, all this sort of stuff, and hard copy press kits. I would be at Kinko's at 3 a.m, running off press kits.
copies,
We were a folder band.
We've all done that.
We'd have the folder with the 8x10 printed promo photos and the bios and all this sort of stuff with the demo tape stuck in there, and it was expensive. It was expensive, and for as much as we were doing with Dead Serious at the time, we weren't making any money off any of it because it cost so much.
Yeah.
Our mission always was to present ourselves on the same level as a national act.
National act, yeah.
We were from Melbourne, but we never conducted ourselves as a local band. Holy cow. We played with freaking Faith No More on that tour right as Epic was starting to break.
I remember. I wasn't at that one, but I remember when that came out.
We're doing our show, and I look over, and in the wings, that whole band, Ugly Jim Martin with the the whole band, they're all standing there, just like jaws dropped, just like taking in every single. Holy cow! We got done with the set, and I think it was Roddy's like, dude, anything we have at our merch table, we will gladly give you if you just give us every tape, every record that you guys have at your merch table. We'll trade with you. We have to get every bit of music we can on Dead Serious. It's like, wow, this is pretty crazy.
But the thing about it, I don't know if we're going this way, if you were heading this direction before we get to the true crime part. Just stop me and then I'll let you tell it. But the thing is, DL mentioned that there was, Melbourne. Touring bands would actually bypass Orlando to come to Melbourne.
Fact check. Yeah.
Yes.
9-Inch Nails at the Power Station in Melbourne, Florida in 1990. 1,400 people.
I know.
That was the
there
kind
for
of
that
stuff that was happening here.
Yeah.
And there were some of these lower key bands. I was at a couple of shows where it's like you guys would play and the place would be packed, and then as soon as this Joe Schmo's Chicken Shack or whatever would get up there. I saw this happen twice where it's just like Dead Serious. And the band was like run off. The touring band was like run off the stage.
The way Van Halen annihilated Black Sabbath on that first tour in 78. That's what we prided ourselves on doing night after night to these unknowing headliners. Right. And Faith No More comes out after we opened for them. And, they did their thing, but it was just doing their thing. 2 weeks later, Epic is now the hottest track
song
in the country.
Yeah.
And they've got, what's his name, the singer for
Mike Patton.
Mike Patton. He's on with Kurt Loder on MTV. And so, Mike, what can we expect when we come out to see Faith No More on tour? And he's like, well, Kurt, I'll tell you, we're a crazy band. We have these weird props and we have all. And I'm sitting there watching, and the guy is effectively describing a Dead Serious show that he has, and it was the same with Green Jello. When they first came out, the band was called Green Jello.
Yes.
And it was 91, I guess.
I think, yeah.
And my phone starts ringing off the wall.
When Three Little Pigs hit the radio.
Major label artists who we had good relationships with were calling me, congratulating me on finally having a hit record. Dude, changing the name of the band was the right call. And I'm at Taco Bell, and this little kid next to me, and he's like, hey man, you're that guy from Green Jello. And it's like, no, I'm not. And I don't know what they're talking about. What is this Green Jello? This Three Little Pigs? What is this? And somebody found the single and brought it into rehearsal the one night. And son of a bitch, it was textbook. It really was. Stylistically, from top to bottom, it was Dead Serious. Little pigs like me.
I swear to God, that guy sounded just like you.
Oh, I know.
You switch Little Pigs to Toy Lawnmower, and it was the same thing. And then I'm doing some research, pre-internet, but doing research, and I discover the entertainment attorney who I had sent one of those hard copy press kits to a year before, who said, well, we get what you're doing, we like it, but we just don't see it.
Yeah.
Son of a gun, a year later, guess who Green Jello's attorney is? The same guy who I had basically sent a blueprint to,
Right.
And so, there was a few bands like that. But the point 7 weeks ago when I started you down this rabbit trail. It was just so expensive to finance a band.
Yes.
Re-enter into the picture our hero savior, Ricky Valentine. Now, Ricky came from the Poison camp, so he only knew how to kick people's asses and to do things like a major label platinum selling arena band. He didn't know how to do things the Melbourne way.
By the way, if you watch Poison's Every Rose Has Its Thorn video, there's a scene in that video where Bobby Dahl, drunk off his ass, is being dragged off the stage. The guy that's dragging him off the stage is Ricky Valentine.
There you go. Fact check again. So he was, Ricky Valentine has been, over the years, endeared to Poison fans as much as anybody in the band. So this was quite a coup when he was sent from LA, to be working with us. But Ricky Valentine, for all of his knowledge and insights and instincts, he was as broke as we were. But everybody wanted to be associated with Ricky Valentine because everybody knew he was the direct link to Poison.
Who at the time was they hadn't fallen off yet, but they were still pretty big.
Oh, this was Flesh and Blood. This was Unskinny Bop. This was they were still on that burning white hot moment. So every Melbourne musician, every broke ass, unemployed Melbourne arena rock musician sleeping on their stripper girlfriend's couch was trying to align themselves with Ricky Valentine.
Yeah.
So Ricky became,
he was the guy.
He was the guy.
He was always open to creative revenue streams. All right. So as a result, he became very close friends with people in the community who were involved in recreational sales, as well as the local adult entertainment industry.
Right.
So he didn't have the money. We didn't have the money, but he was hanging out with the people who did have the money. So if we needed a photo shoot and we need 800, 500, 1,000, whatever, promo photos immediately, Ricky would pick me up and we would go to on the other side of the tracks in Melbourne. And we would go into a dilapidated house with the boarded up windows with the Uzis propped up in the corners inside. And we would walk in and he would dart off to a back bedroom and I would sit on the couch with an unwashed, tattooed 90-pound, stripper who may or may not have had all of their teeth. And I would sit there with them for like an hour. And then at some point, the back room door would burst open. Ricky would come out, throw me a wad of cash, and off we go.
There you go.
So his bit was, through helping him out financially with things, Mr. Upcoming local musician guy, you're sort of benefiting yourself because he's the direct line to Poison. So now we have arrived.
Right.
Would you like to pick us up from here, Bill, since I've hijacked your
Okay.
show?
Well, basically there was a crime that happened. The lead singer of a local band here, a particularly sleazy local band, bass player was like a carbon copy of Bobby Dahl of Poison.
Yes, he was.
But this guy's name was Mick Finn. I'm not going to say his real name, but yeah, that was his persona, and I mean he looked like a blonde knockoff Axl Rose.
If you remember in the day, the band Faster Pussycat.
Yes.
Yeah,
The lead singer for Faster
that's better.
Pussycat,
That's better.
Take Me Down.
Take Me Down.
Yeah.
Mick was an authentic
Clone. Yeah.
likable, to me, an authentic, likable clone of Take Me Down.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And then each member of his band were authentic knockoffs. Oh, that's the Bobby Doll guy. That's the
Well, who was
Slaughter
Randy
guy.
Chapman?
That's the,
Who was Randy Chapman?
Who would Randy Chapman have been? Somebody great, because I love Randy Chapman, and
Jakey
he was just
Lee?
a tremendous talent.
Randy Chapman was Randy Chapman, dude.
he was Randy Rhoads.
Oh, wait a
never-
second. Randy Chapman would have been
Randy Rhoads.
Phil Collin, one of those
Yeah.
aces from Def Leppard, and I don't mean that in a disparaging way. So, you had the Bobby Dahl knockoff bass player, Randy Chapman, would have been like a Phil Collin.
Yeah, but dude, I saw him play, dude. And I talked to Randy. I've known Randy. I seen him, dude.
Randy was a regular.
He was
Randy was a.
I don't get why they're all dressing up, dude. I seen him play a show. Randy was wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt.
That guy was always such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
And he just would fucking slay it.
Well, he
dude.
was
Like-
he was on several episodes of the Will and Thunder show as well.
Yeah, well, he's still around, and I knew
Yep.
Randy when he was a kid before things really started popping, and he was just always a sweet guy and a super talented player. Just
Yeah,
always
he's great.
Randy Chapman's just always been one of my favorite guys on the
I've
scene.
always liked him.
So this singer Mick Finn, this was back in the late 80s. Shortly, a year or two, right after I Want Force Feed William Cruse came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's when
so-
their moment on the local scene was
Right.
89,
Yeah.
88, 89.
I mean,
that was Riff Raff, right?
Riff
Riff
Raff,
Raff,
yes.
yeah.
And they would so this guy was like every drug on the planet, he did it and then some. But he went into a bank with a
Wait a sec. Before we go there, if
Okay.
we can give a little more insight here.
well, take the mic.
When Mickey came to town in the late 80s, whether it was true or not, and you never knew with Mickey what was legit,
exactly.
and, what was fabricated.
Because that's when I met him.
And his line was that he was from LA.
Well, he was. I gotta say, I gotta say, it's just like, okay, we're kind of dumping on this guy because of what he.
Oh, not
does.
at all. I have
But-
not at all.
But no, I liked him. He was cool.
Me too.
Yeah,
But
he was
already hanging out with-
authentic.
I'm just saying, if it sounds like we're dumping on him because of what he does, which we're getting to, we are for that, but really he was a cool. He was
I'm
a
not
cool
gonna-
guy.
He's
I
fun to hang out
always
with, dude.
had nothing but the coolest, fondest memories hanging out with Mickey, and just talking about rock and roll. And
My
did a lot of
my
great
first
gigs
show,
with them.
my first show on lead vocals, as a lead singer. I was scared shitless because I had never done it before, and it was the worst show I've ever done. But but I
ones are
forgot
always the worst.
lyrics. I just oh my god, like the very first song. It was one of those situations where we had a 4-piece band. We were looking for a singer, and we couldn't find a singer. So I was like, okay, I'll do it, because I would always sing like backup vocals. I'll do it. So it's like our opening song. You might have been there. I don't know. Mick Finn was, because he was running sound for the power station. But yeah, I get up there. The first song, it's just like, we hit the intro to the song and everything. We're playing it and everything. And I had only been a guitar player in a band at that point, so it's just like I'm supposed to start singing, but I don't. And I'm expecting to hear the vocals and. They weren't there. I'm like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be singing. And it just went downhill from there. But prior to that, it's just like, Mick had seen how nervous I was, because, and he's just like, you all right, bro? I'm like, yeah. Is it your first show? No, it's my first show as a lead singer though. He's like, oh man. So I'm like 19 years old. That was the first time I ever played at the power station. And I get up there and he drink this. So
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
So I drank it and my voice was fine. I sucked, but my voice was fine thanks to that concoction that he gave me. Loosened me up a little bit, and and it kind of loosened the old throat up a little bit too. So I mean,
he gave you some Jack Daniels or something, huh?
no, it was a mixed drink of some sort, but Yeah, he kind of took me under his wing that night.
He was like the real deal, because even if you didn't know if it was fabrication or truth, but he made you believe it.
Yeah,
that
right.
he was the fire, full throttle, sex, drugs, and rock and roll guy from the Hollywood LA scene, and here he is. He shows
There
up
he is.
in Melbourne, and it was authentic. That was the sound, that was the style, and he was
Yeah.
the right guy to pop up at the scene at the right time, and it was just
Yeah.
always cool hanging out with him.
I'm out waiting around. Where the hell were you? I remember that song.
Yeah, dude, I have a funny story about fucking Mickey Finn. Back when I was like 18 or 19, dude, I lived in Manor House Apartments, right? And this guy, Tony G,
I remember Tony G.
Sure.
you remember,
Yeah.
Tony G lived in an apartment like around the corner from
Tattoo
me.
Tony.
Yeah, Tattoo Tony.
We all grew up together.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else knows any of these people, but this is like a family reunion.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is,
dude,
it
yeah.
is.
We were taking a trip down memory lane right now. But anyway, so
And we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because we sure as hell do.
So Finn was hanging out at Tony's house, right? And Tony had just gotten into tattooing then, right? He got his gun, but he didn't have any needles. So him and Finn come over to my apartment because I play guitar. He's like, dude, you got any broken guitar strings? This guy really wants a tattoo.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, yeah. Because I want to see you tattoo a guy with a guitar string.
And for those of you just listening on Spotify or whatever, he made a motion like he was cutting guitar strings on the
Yes,
guitar.
I actually did. I actually cut a string off my guitar because I wanted to see this happen. And I watched it, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, like, dude, I have crappy tattoos. I mean, this one was Tony G.
No, but he got.
But, I mean, all right.
He got-
I mean, you'll see it on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. But the point is,
I don't hear anything.
what do you mean you don't hear anything?
I don't hear anything in the headphones.
How about now?
I do now. Just back it off just a little bit.
Dude, stop being a little pussy.
No, it went away there for a split
Oh, I know,
second.
dude. Mine happened too, but it comes back, dude. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But anyway, my point is, like, dude, Tony G did this tattoo with an actual needle, not a guitar string. But when he first got his fucking setup, dude, he's like, dude, you got a broken guitar string? I'm like, no, but I'll get you one because I know what you're gonna do. And I went over there and I watched him tattoo this fucking apple on Finn's fucking chest, dude. And it was the worst fucking thing. It was just like, dude, it's not even breaking the skin. It was like just this little like crappy fucking outline, like worse than a jail tattoo.
I can't hear myself.
Why can't you hear yourself?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I hear you just
I
fine.
can hear both you guys. I can hear all three of us.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't hear.
beautiful.
I don't hear you.
Hold on.
Check.
High fidelity.
Hey,
Can you hear now?
I hear you.
How about me?
I don't hear.
Dude,
Chris.
Chris is fucking blasted, dude. He
Blasted.
is like fucking like, dude, if I go any higher, he's gonna fucking go past Unity. It was. You're in one. Did you pull out? Yeah, you must have pulled out one because I can still hear me.
Two.
You're the old.
both of us.
Yeah, I hear.
I don't hear. I don't hear Chris.
All right. How
on.
about now?
Hey, how you doing?
I
there,
don't hear
Bill?
Chris.
Nope.
All
All
right.
right, I'll just do it this way.
That's
I'll just,
okay.
I'll just do it this. I'm just gonna take my.
Hold
my-
on.
It's like that video of Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Do it live. Fucking take the headphones off. We'll just do it live.
Throw them down. We'll do it live.
Dude, I'm not opposed to that.
I probably need to replace these headphones. To be honest with you, but
Dude, really,
So
you're
that
bringing.
is an amazing tattoo story.
I know, dude.
I would
thought-
love to know what that tattoo looks like now.
I would too.
It probably doesn't exist.
It's probably disappeared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
would
it's probably
have to.
just it's all just grown out because he's
would
like,
have
dude,
to.
it was barely breaking his skin.
Well, about that time, Mickey was really courting Ricky Valentine. We call RV. So Dead Serious, we were, for whatever reason, we were in dire need of $1,000 right now. For whatever project we had going on, we needed Ricky Valentine to find $1,000 right now.
Hey, Ricky, go fund us, will you, please?
Which is what he always did anyway. I mean, that's how I know so much about freaking drug dens and crack houses and all that sort of stuff. Was hanging out with Ricky Valentine as he was procuring financing for our entertainment conglomerate. So,
oh man,
he reaches out to Mickey Finn, and Mickey Finn says, "We want you to produce our demo." Okay, so it's Mickey Finn talking to Ricky Valentine. "We want you to go in the studio with us and produce our demo." And Ricky says, "I would be happy to, Mickey. It'll cost you $1,000." Coincidentally, Mickey says, "No problem. You're
the guy."
Basically at the feet of the throne of Bret Michaels. Yeah, sure, $1,000. Now, probably Mickey didn't have it either, but he had a girlfriend who was involved in the entertainment industry, we'll say.
Yeah,
and she was able to procure $1,000 very quickly. So RV comes over, Ricky comes over, and he picks me up and he goes, "Oh, we're gonna go see Mickey Finn." I'm like, "Okay, great." And we go to some dilapidated apartment complex somewhere,
probably where I lived.
It was the same scene, playing out over and over. Here I am in the boarded up living room with the unwashed 90-pound-year-old girl, and Ricky's in back with Mickey, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting. An hour later, Ricky RV comes out. Mickey's following behind. They're wiping their noses. Ricky Valentine throws me a wad of cash, $1,000. Like, let's go. Run. We jump in the car and we go. And that was my understanding of the arrangement, was that it was a deal brokered between Mickey and Ricky for Ricky to produce Mickey Finn's album. Exactly. Done. We got the cash. We did whatever. Time moves on. This is 1989. We fast forward years. I don't see or hear from Mickey. And I'm glad you brought that up. I want to be clear. I always liked Mickey. I always considered him a buddy of mine.
And I had to throw that in there because...
Yeah. And I don't say anything disparaging. He was just one of my buddies from the scene. I don't discuss Mickey any differently than any of my other friends at that time. We were all ridiculous, rock and roll guys trying to, just trying to make it. So fast forward 7 years. It's early 1996, and I had opened my own record store. Now, 1996, unbeknownst to me at the time, 1996 was not the best time to open a record store.
No.
Now they're popping up all over the place. Now, 2023 is an excellent time.
It's vintage.
Excellent time now to open a record
store.
Yeah,
especially because it cost the same amount to press one that it did back then, but now they're selling them for like $50 a piece.
Crazy. Yep. And just the interest in the used vinyl and so on. So I opened my shop down in Palm Bay, early 96, and shortly after we opened, in walks Mickey Finn.
Oh.
Been years. Look exactly the same. Like, holy cow, Mickey. Right on, dude. What's going on? How you been? He goes, "Where's my fucking money?"
Huh?
I'm like, what?
Oh.
He goes, "You owe me $1,000, motherfucker." And I'm like, "How do you figure?" He goes, that night I gave that money to Ricky. And I'm like, well, then sounds to me like Ricky owes you $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He got
Ricky probably told him to fuck off.
I was investing in Dead Serious. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that was exactly. And I can't recall how that conversation ended, but it was very uncomfortable.
I would imagine.
And at some point, he takes off. He leaves, and it's like, wow, that was really, really weird.
That was odd.
Then a couple of
What did
days-
Ricky have to say about that?
pretty much the way I'm
you're telling it?
Okay.
the way I'm telling it
Okay,
right now.
when you told me that story, you didn't mention that. I was like wondering, well, what did Ricky have to say about that?
So a couple of weeks later, a couple of days, a week or two or so, I get in from the shop or get in from the club, whatever. It's 11 o'clock. We put on the 11 o'clock news, with the old remote control, toaster size. And here comes this crazy news story.
Where
There's your setup.
There you go.
a Pastor Pussycat looking
Florida man.
Florida man. He went into a bank with a cell phone in a bag, and he said to the teller, "Give me all your money. I got a bomb here," and it was just a cell phone. And I don't know if he got any money. I can't remember, but yeah, he went.
A foiled bank heist. He was trying to hold up a bank with a cell phone.
With a cell phone.
And this was right about the time he had come to me trying to shake me down for the grand.
Right.
And then coincidentally, a few days later, he shows up on the news being led out of the courthouse or facility of whatever, handcuffs with the shirt over his head so on. It's like, holy, and they were using his real name and it didn't click.
Right.
And then the shirt comes back. I'm like, my goodness, it's Mickey Finn.
Yeah.
And so that was whatever situation he was dealing with required, getting a hold of some capital. And he was visiting every means that he could to try to generate
seriously,
that capital.
though, after 70 years, after 7 years, he's like, dude, where's the grand? What are you talking about?
I didn't even know what
I
must,
don't even remember that.
He must have had some heavy hitters after him.
Could be. We can only speculate on.
Yes, merely speculation.
I just thought it was rather odd. I don't know. You may know, Bill, what came of the story after that. It was a big news story that night on TV, and there's Mickey in living color, clear as day, and they're laying out the details of the situation.
Right.
Beyond that, I don't know how that story ever.
Yeah.
I know he went to
resolved.
prison. That's pretty much all I know about it, and and I haven't heard anything about him being released. But I mean, if you rob a bank, that's a federal offense, so he's probably still in prison.
Would love to find out.
Yes, let's do some.
I mean,
research.
I did Google it to see if there was anything. I couldn't find
John
anything.
Smith.
I couldn't
See what
find
we can
anything.
find here.
Oh boy. Anyway,
So
We'll get your research team here at the Crimes, Killers, and Cults and the Beers.
I'll Google it right now if you want.
There you
I
go. Let's
I
see.
don't. I'm
right,
See
gonna,
what you find.
all right. Here we go.
So that was it was just interesting in 96, 97 that there was still those ties to that old Melbourne rock scene.
Yeah, it is just what the trigger for all of this was William Cruse. I mean, if William Cruse hadn't happened, none of the rest of the story happens.
As we're on the phone the other night, Bill and I talking, we were talking about the William Cruse thing, and he goes, "Hey, and you remember that?" I'm like, "Wow, yeah."
Right on. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I started talking to him about the freak, despicable guy who molested me when I was a little kid, living on the beach side. The guy who owned the record store, who was sitting in prison. The kid that he got before me, he actually murdered. Why he chose to let me go, I don't know why it played out that way, but I'm relating that story to Bill. It's like, oh, I got one for you. This filthy, despicable person. He's actually in jail, convicted murder. And Bill's like, that's interesting. But what about Mickey Finn? What do you think ever happened? Like, dude, I got a murderer here. And Bill's like, oh,
all right,
let's find out about Mickey
Well,
Finn.
where are we at? Where are we at? You got time?
We're like almost 2 hours in.
Okay.
Wow.
But we've been having fun though, dude. It doesn't even feel like it. But hey, I got a story because I don't have a Florida man story for this.
This was not happening on this episode.
Okay, that's fine. But I have a story because you guys remember back, I think it was in the 80s or whatever, Junie Rios Martinez.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That was vivid.
The guy that killed him lived just down the street.
Mark Schwab.
Yeah, Mark Schwab lived down my street, dude. I seen that motherfucker walk down my road.
Wow. He walked.
That was probably one of the most tragic of.
Yes,
of
it was
all
terrible,
of them.
dude.
You know, as
But yeah, dude, no, that motherfucker lived at the end of my road.
As a guy from the music scene, as a parent.
Yeah.
Yes, as a
just
parent.
a decent
That's
human
fucking
being
terrible.
with, a passion for young people and just life in general.
Yes.
I don't want to do spoilers. That's going to be your story for something else. But that
Yeah.
I will be tuning in for
Yes.
sure to hear you guys talk about that one.
If we get there,
All right, we'll get on
to
it.
that one. I was just,
That takes the
that's
cake.
just one of those things.
No, there was a
where it's
lot of intrigue on that one. That we could probably make a full length episode out of that.
Yep. But anyway, I don't know, dude. We're about 2 hours. You want to, I mean, dude, as much as I would just want to sit here and just
And I'm out of
record,
Venom.
and he's out of Venom. So, I mean, I would love to sit here and record and just like talk with him for the rest of the night.
Oh, I know.
The rest of the week because we're having such a good time.
Yeah.
But, we could wrap it up.
And I got rehearsal. I've got 56 minutes to get down to the studio in Melbourne.
All right,
for
let's
rehearsal.
wrap this
it up
up.
then.
All right, thank you so much for listening. And I had this before we wrap it up, though. I mean, you kind of used my vape juice there to prop up your little your CD there.
My record that you're
The headphones are hiding.
conveniently.
See,
covered.
Bill has
I
no
think-
concept of product placement.
I think what you're referring to is the debut solo album
Hell
from
yeah.
DL Serios,
Yes.
entitled Pecker.
Pecker.
Available now on Ghoul Tone Records. We are speaking right now in April of 23.
Right.
This
Yep.
came out last fall in September of 22.
Right
so
on.
it's just been out for a couple of months. It's the first record that I did when I launched my solo DL Serios project. We got a couple of songs from the album that are actual music videos that are
Hell
on
yeah.
the YouTube.
I watched the Sarah Smile video. That's funny.
Feeling freaky and smile, Sarah Smile, and so you can go on what is it? dlserious.bandcamp.com,
Right
and
on.
then that's where all of our links and so on, and you can find DL Serious on the YouTube and lots of fun content out there.
And one time in Bandcamp, I haven't done anything on Bandcamp. None of my music is on Bandcamp. I need to put my
This
music
one
on
time
Bandcamp.
At Bandcamp,
It's a very
Bill stuck a
easy-
flute up his ass.
It's an easy and potentially very effective platform. I like the Bandcamp.
Right on,
platform,
brother.
It's
Well,
a nice
anyway.
presentation.
So anyway, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this. This is kind of a different episode than what you're used to from us, but I had a blast. Todd had a blast. DL had a blast. We
yeah.
hope you had a blast too. And check us out, social media. Just click our.
We'll put DL social media in the link too. So
Absolutely, we're
check
going
him
to
out, dude.
do
He's
that.
fucking amazing.
And Pecker really is about a chicken.
It is
Let me
really
make no
about a
mis-
chicken.
There is no double entendre that is not about anything.
Well, the album cover. I mean, you've got this giant pecker. You've got this giant cock. That's just,
Jesus.
That's just like towering over the city. You've got like F-16s like flying to intercept it.
Anybody who brings any dirty connotations into this is just a degenerate.
Just
The
doesn't
I was
get
talking
it.
about a male chicken.
The title and the packaging and the imaging and so on, genuinely, and that is another 45-minute conversation. But it is genuinely about a chicken.
I love it.
It's just that simple. DL Serious, Pecker. It's about a chicken. It's a snappy little record.
I didn't bring any connotation into it. I called it a cock. A cock is a male chicken,
Stop.
aka a
Just stop,
rooster.
Bill.
Just
Just
stop.
stop.
Just stop.
You're making it worse at this point, dude.
Anyway,
All right. Until next week. Later.
cheers, everybody.
Peace out.